Okay, it will start. Okay, so and welcome back. We will continue. Okay, so to Prima Dia.
Yeah. Thank you. I, my name is Tamila. I am a member of Prima of Ukraine Direct Action, and we can say a lot of things about militarism, considering our unique context, being in a 4-year war with Russia, a huge imperialist state that aims to take up all of our territories, subjugate our people, and destroy any idea of what Ukrainian even is on our land. We see two sides to militarism. The side that is Russian, that shows us how militarism can be used to make children want to subjugate peoples in other lands and other countries. Militarism that wants that aims to make your brother want to take weapons against you. We also have a different side of militarism that is protection. Militarism that helps us survive and see another day in Ukraine and not have to flee fearing for our lives. Ukraine has a complex context that might be unfamiliar to many of you and that you might not understand. Weapons are seen as safe when they are in the hands of Ukrainians. Simply because this war has shown us that there isn't any safety for us that will not be taken by our own hands, our own struggle, and even within a statist system, it is the only chance we can have to protect ourselves and our lives and the lives of our families. This war has been unique in the amount of war crimes in the last many years in Ukraine. We have seen attacks on our civilian infrastructure, war crimes such as rape and forced mobilization of people on occupied territories, Ukrainians made to kill other Ukrainians. We have seen economic pressure, we have seen propaganda. And to say that we should just choose peace is very disrespectful to a Ukrainian, because we have not chosen war, we are not choosing war, and we are only choosing to survive. It is the same as to say to a victim of an attack or a rape that they should not protect themselves if it causes the other side to suffer pain. We cannot publicly condone militarization in our universities for two reasons. First is it's not quite legal to make statements that will affect territorial wholeness of Ukraine. And another reason is that it's a complicated moral thing. You cannot just say to many people that they should not be protected, even though many men above the age of 23 are forced to join the army. As a union, we support our comrades that join the army, as we are sure that they do so in fighting against the imperialist power that is Russia. And we support them with donations and spreading the word to other people, because it is important to us that It is known that anarchist and leftist activists from Ukraine have participated in the effort against imperialism, and not just far right. It will have prestige to claim so in years after the war is over. Also, we have, however, Primatia opposes militarization for its own sake, for the sake of glory or imperial gain. We only see it as a means to get independence and freedom from Ukraine and nothing more. And we will not support any militarization or any claims that we should take up more territory that was lost to us and do things like that. For example, it is very different from what far right wants. Far right that joins the army does not care about imperialism. They do not see Russia as an imperialist presence. They see them as the other, and we stand against that kind of militarization. People's support is the lifeline of Ukrainian army, unlike Russian army, because Russia does not care whether people support the war or not. And we think that we cannot claim that we stand against all kinds of militarization in our context. However, we will always stand against militarizations for capitalist and imperialist gain. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. It was very, very interesting and very enriching. So we'll go to our camarade from Japan now.
Hello, thank you for inviting us for this congress. I am Yuya Kobayashi from Japan. I belong to Gakusei Kodo, which means Student Action in Japanese. We are a network of activist students all over Japan, and we we struggle. We are against war, and we are fighting in each way in each university campus. And some of us have a student union, and some of us just have a dormitory, or many of us without both. And our main struggle is about our main struggle is across all over Japan, and each of us do each things. But there is one big thing. We do annually, which is Hiroshima Action in August. In August, there is a peace ceremony called Peace Ceremony on August 6th, and which is the day the atomic bomb is dropped on Hiroshima. And Japanese militarism and nationalism is a bit complicated because it is really deeply tied to pacifism of Japan. And our constitution doesn't allow the existence of military, but there is actually, there is a self-defense force, but Japan doesn't call it military or army because the nationalism in Japan is really tied to pacifism. So it is a bit complicated in to talk about militarism in Japan, but the authoritarian the impact of militarization is already there in our university too, and it means more control of government over university or our daily lives, and the government our government is now trying to punish people who breaks the national flag or such kind of uh, things. So and in the university, our budget is getting cut, but not only being cut, the government is trying to control the use of the budget distributed in the university, and it causes the militarization of university. And in even without war, the militarization in university is deeply related to the freedom of university, and the today's trend of militarization is going to authoritarianism even in Japan. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Now we will go with Solidaires Étudiant.
Thank you very much for all your interventions. We've seen a large diversity of situations. I will have a word on the situation in France regarding militarism and its relations with universities, as well as I can talk with what we expect from an international solidarity organization that we are trying to build via this Congress as well as other initiatives. So the stakes in France start with one fact that France is the second largest weapon exporter. So with this data, you can already understand that talking about the French defense and strategic independence, as we hear many times, is absolutely wrong. The destination of these weapons are to the most willingful to pay the price for French weapons, such as Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, which are implied in the Sudanese destruction and killing of many civil persons that we stand against, of course. And this exportation of weapons, as well as the strategic choices in France regarding the debt in Ukraine, the helps France gives to African governments, it's the demonstration of a willingness to create a French influence in Europe, also in its former colonies. This is why in Sahel, the French army was heavily criticized and was dismantled, and it went away in countries such as Mali, Burkina Faso, for political reasons. These countries wanted to fight against terrorism by their own means as a popular resistance, rather than relying on the French that commit war crimes and contest their true independence. So the interests of France, in our opinion, are absolutely not correlated with the protection of the French. And the multiplication of partnerships between our universities and large military corporations are a consequence of it. We have companies such as Thales, Dassault, which create the Rafale, the plane, as many others. Our studies and scientific research are funded more and more every year by these kind of companies. So we lack a very independent research in IT, in communications, in electronics. Everything is going to be dedicated to the creation of weapons for the sake of French imperialism and profit. Our studies too are being heavily influenced by these companies, as well as the French army itself. And the politics in France are taking a bad direction about it. For example, the President Macron is pushing for a heavier militarization of society and the youth at the service of French imperialism. He made incoherent choices and declarations, and he is now pushing for an obligatory military service, a conscription similar to what we are facing in Germany or Serbia, for example. So mobilizations are going to be led, and we'll talk about it later. Notably, Hilde will have a word about European actions against militarism. So all this situation is influenced also by the anti-social and neoliberal reforms of superior education and research that we've faced all over the years under Macron's presidency and even before. To take an example, French university is now selective since 2018. It was traditionally open to everybody who ended the second degree diploma. Now there is a selection based on the academic level, but more accurately, it's a selection based on social origins, geographical origins, racial origins too. And this way of selecting is for us something that we fight against. It's one of our main subjects of topics of mobilization since many years. So we have to acknowledge this context as well as the will to get the fees at the entry of university to be higher and to be very high when it comes to foreign students. The students of higher classes will develop technologies of war because they will be highly qualified. They will work in communications, IT, electronics at the service of French militarization, and the working class will be enrolled within the army. We've already seen a stance of the French army here to recruit French proletarian youth in the streets, but also on campuses. And every time this happens, we try to build a mobilization to make these tables go away, because we don't want the French to be enrolled in the army, because the stakes for a French soldier is not a matter of defense or liberation, but only a matter of imperialism and neocolonialism. So we don't want this word that we are proposed. We want to build another word and another political stance in France, where everybody has the right and opportunity to study first, and our universities are free from the influence of the mega corporations I've talked about earlier that make profit with killing machines and contribute to imperialism, disorder in the world, and oppression all across the world too. Especially the most oppressed nations. And we can obviously think about our mobilization for Palestine resistance. We've made an important subject about academic boycott in the continuity of the BDS movement, which was an initiative of trade unions in Palestine to boycott partnerships with Israeli universities as well as Israeli companies. And this is a fight we've been leading not only since 3 years, but even before, because BDS has been an important topic in trade unionism since a long time, even before the start of the Palestinian genocide. We also participate to common actions with Stop Arming Israel, which is an association that get to know the workers in the industrial military complex to get them to think about and to know the stakes around their own work, which is very important for us to have this dialogue with workers even within the industries of war. So this is it for the stakes in France. I will have a last word. I try to be quick on the interest in working internationally. Imperialism being a global issue, we've talked about the United States and NATO, we've talked about Russia, obviously. We are absolutely determined to form a global alliance that acknowledges social dynamics. This is why we push for a common statement that will be discussed later this day, normally, promoting the Universities at War network, which we built alongside the founding members that are Priya Media, as well as Inicjativa Plakonica, our Polish comrades that will join us later. It's meant for mutual aid to support each other's mobilization, and it's also a way to coordinate these mobilizations, which is clearly needed and was not achieved before, and also have a coherent analysis of this world order. As well as we criticize NATO's summit held in Turkey, we'll also support our Ukrainian comrades facing the Russian invasion with class solidarity and concrete actions of solidarity coming from the Labor Solidarity Network, for example. We oppose every imperialism and support popular resistance as well as building peace with class solidarity mainly. We use the tools of unionizing, and we want to do it without borders altogether. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So we will conclude this first part about presenting all of the organization and making a point of the local situation in each country. So, your turn.
Thank you. Hello, I'm not sure how to use it, like this maybe? Is it okay? I'm Hilda, I'm from SJD Falken, it's Socialist Youth of Germany. So it's not the student union. And I'm here today because as SJD we are part of Students and Youth Against War. It's an alliance we started to build in the last month, and also Solidaires Étudiant-e-s is part of it. And so I will first say some words about my organization and the situation in Germany, and also some actions we have taken, and then like maybe in the next round when we still do it, I would like propose a bit more what we have discussed in this Students and Youth Against War Alliance, because this is a bit what I'm here for today, to make you want to become active in this alliance and to organize together during the coming month. So falcon, it's this one is a falcon. It's a bird. It's and it's not the national eagle of Germany. It's the name of my organization, and we are a very old organization, actually from 1919. So it's a blue skirt organization that comes blue shirt organization that comes from the workers' movement. And I think outside Germany, sometimes it's easier to understand what we do if I define us like socialist or communist scouts. So what we do is trying to help children and young people to self-organize, and we do it in summer camps and in workshops and in group lessons during the year. So this is a bit our activity. We are really focusing on education, on self-organization, and like try to build contexts in which we can raise political consciousness among our members. And I think for us as a children and youth organization, the last month have been very challenging because we see a big change in the German discourse. I think like not only in the last year, but I think in the last year it's getting really strong because there's a very concrete debate about the reintroduction of military circumscription in Germany. And I think it has never been discussed in this way since it was abolished. And I think also generally Germany has a particular history about its military, notably about after 45, that there was a decision that Germany should not be a military power. And I think what we are heading towards right now is exactly towards a situation in which Germany has very much military power inside Europe again. And I think the main justification that we hear for that is that it would be about security and about protection. And I think we have to be so careful when we hear these terms, because I think they are always the same to justify war. And I think here we really have to be so careful about it, because I think the security of Germany and the security of the European Union more in general, it always means the insecurity of all the countries which are not part of Europe and of Germany. Okay, this doesn't make sense, but English is not my native language, as you hear. But I think you got my point. So I think when we have like this whole discourse about war as a means to build peace, or war as a means to build security, I think we have to be so mistrustful about it. And I think that when we look at the current wars that are going on, I think sadly they give us the big example that militarization actually doesn't grant any peace. And I think there is something we have to relearn, and I think it's something we have really, I think we lost the knowledge about it, like to know how to build international peace infrastructure, how to build agreements that actually lead to long-lasting peace and which are not based on rearmament, because rearmament actually doesn't really lead to peace. So maybe this is a bit my general frame, and I think I will go more into detail about this actions that we have been taking against military circumscription in the last month in the second round. Yeah.
Okay, so now we will go to the question. So the first one is, what are the stakes regarding wars? Ah ouais, donc la suivante, c'est ça que tu veux. Donc passe à la suivante. Ok, donc ok. Okay, so because all of the organization, Kanda already answer our prepared question, we ask the public and the Twitch live stream if
Can I say something
yes, yeah.
Yes.
Yes, you can. So if you have any question, try to remember it. And if you are on the Twitch live stream, type it on I forget the word, but the chat.
Yeah, sorry, I respected too much the rule of the discussion, so I thought I will do the second part later, but I do it now. It's about the Students and Youth Against War Alliance. It's alliance we have built in the last month, and there are student organizations in it, there are youth organizations in it, and it's basically the idea that we gather to fight militarism internationally. I think the reasons why this is necessary, we have already discussed them long enough. And concretely, we've met some weeks ago in Cologne, and there were comrades from 8 different countries, and I think about 12 or 13 different organizations. And we came together to first, think about what is how do we understand why militarism is back in these times. And I thought when you were starting your discourse, I forget your name, sorry. Yeah, I think it really resonated with what we have discussed in Cologne. So it's really curious for me also to see that we come to similar conclusions sometimes then maybe we are not too wrong in what we discuss. And more concretely, when we were meeting in Cologne, we were discussing the possibility of taking action in terms of a youth strike. So it could be a strike in schools, but also in universities. And there we agreed on trying to mobilize for the 20th of November. So there's still some time. But I would really like to invite you maybe also to share your opinions about it when we open the plenary, if it's interesting for you to join it and if you see any potential in it. Because I think it's something during the last year, there have been several strikes in schools and lycées in Germany. And contrary to France, this is not something that happens every 2 years. So it has been quite an effort to organize it. And I think the main reason why we managed to organize it was because we built alliances among socialist organizations. And also this was not easy, as you can maybe imagine. When you try to work with other leftist organizations in France, probably you face similar difficulties. And so we somehow try to unite and to organize these strikes, which have been a success so far. And we would try to continue working on it in autumn, and we would like to put it on an international level. And this is what I'm here today also to ask you and to propose this date. And maybe so you can keep it in mind and you can discuss it in your branches, and we will have time to prepare for it. To have an international anti-militarist movement that rises in autumn.
Okay, so does anyone have a question on the public? Okay, think. Yeah. Ouais, fais le micro.
Thank you, comrades. First of all, I wanted to address a word of solidarity to our comrades from revolutionaries organizations, progressive organizations in Turkey, who are facing state repression because of their mobilization against the NATO summit going on in Ankara. There is a demonstration on the 4th of July against it and on support of the comrades. So I invite everyone to join this demonstration. And for my question, I wanted to ask all of you, how do in your everyday work you can promote internationalism? How do you develop that on each of your organizations? Because for us, it's the key to fight imperialism, to unite the struggle in Turkey, in Palestine, in imperialist countries fighting against our own imperialism. So how can we develop internationalism in our everyday work? Thank you.
Well, if I understood the question right, you asked how do we promote internationalism in our everyday lives and in our organizations. Yes, I understood. Okay, it's correct. So, in the subjective example of Turkey, the people of Turkey has consists of many nationalities actually, and maybe different ethnicities. Maybe we could say, but the term of nation terms it changed from country to country, and Turkey has not a good reputation in its past. To the Turkish national identity has been tried to. Uh, how to adopt it to the other ethnicities in the Turkey as well. So even from the outside, it may look like there is only a one nationality that lives in Turkey. Actually, before it, as you know, it was an imperial state. So there were many nationalities and ethnicities living right now in our borders, and now we label them as minorities, and those minorities has always had a good past with socialist movements and their own national liberation movements. So we have many comrades from different ethnicities, and this is not something strange to us actually, because if you put internationality that way, but if you are speaking about different borders, the closer, yeah, it's better right now, I believe. So in the Palestine case, Turkey tries to picture that they're like they are trying to look like they're allied and they're with the Palestine, but in the background they are making business with Israel. The Turkish bourgeoisie, which is in the government right now, is openly making contracts with Israeli bourgeoisie, and the even 2 or 3 years before, it was revealed that the some of the steel of the Israel army was or the Israel government was directly exported from the Turkey. So they are excuse me. So they are contradicting themselves. So in Turkey, the Palestine protests were not that violent as like in Europe usually. But when it comes to point out that contradiction of the government, it suddenly could become more violent. So our primary goal was to underline this contradiction, because mostly people of Turkey, because Islam is the major religion, so there is a sympathy with Palestine, and also for the leftists, most of the socialist revolutionaries of Turkey in the 70s and 80s went to Palestine to get training, etc. So there is a huge connection. But when it comes to underlining these contradictions, some of the Turkey's population were surprised. So our primary goal was to promote and make the propaganda of this contradiction to be how to I forgot the word, to be with the Palestine. Yeah. If it's enough for the answer, maybe okay.
Okay.
Well, I see that in a way capitalism is an extractive circuit of states that we like consider richer and those that are poorer. And I see that the job of internationalism is to prevent the work of that extractive circuit, to help the people on the ground with knowledge and resources, and kind of help them in their resistance. That is all.
I think to promote internationalism in our organizations, I think we really have to, like as functionaries in the organization, I think we have to take a conscious choice that we want to make internationalism a priority. And I guess that for France and Germany, it's not so different because it's both countries which are in the global north and the, let's call it the imperialist center, and it's very easy to ignore what is going on outside these countries because we are not the ones who are like directly exploited by some other foreign powers. And so I guess it's really like, I think it's something systematic that then we can ignore it and we can focus on the national policies, and there's always a lot of things to do. And then I think it's like maybe also my moment to complain about my own comrades sometimes when I feel like they consider internationalism as like something on top, you know, when everything is going perfectly, then we start to invite guests, comrades from other countries, or when we or we start visiting each other, or we start to really be interested in a situation in other places. And I think we have to be very honest with each other about it and criticize each other about it, and then say internationalism, and especially in times of rising militarization, it has to be the baseline of whatever we do. And so, I mean, so and if we, I think if we explain it that way, we have also possibility to convince our comrades with it. But that's just a bit my learning from the last years.
One word for Solidaire. You know us pretty well on in universities. We make internationalism live with mainly 2 points. The first one being what we are doing here, while with having a pretty strong focus on internationalism in our own Congress, whether it be in terms of analysis, but also invitations, links we can make, and networks we can build with other organizations. So we know the point of view of different countries and their social movements and how they lead the fights we have in common. With our differences, but also with our discussion, we can find a common ground on how to fight for a just society, thanks to class solidarity and to the working class all around the world, with acknowledging the differences between states and the dynamics of imperialism. In campuses, in the everyday life, we also try to fight our own imperialism, as you said earlier. And it comes with the fights against the companies that I've told you about earlier when I talked about Thales, Dassault, and so on. But also when we fight against Bienvenue en France, this reform, which has a terrible name because it means welcome to France, but it's raising the inscription fees in French universities for foreign students and specifically extra European students from a few, from 200 euros up to 3,000 in license and 4,000 a year in a master's degree. So this is an attack on our own country against foreigners, comrades from other countries, and we cannot accept it. And anti-racism and internationalism is also led with mobilization against the racist measures of our governments that want to select students that come from richer countries or that come from an elite, rather than students who come from countries no matter the country, just to study, especially what we can call oppressed countries or at the periphery of imperialism, especially French-speaking African countries. We have students that come from there that are not. It seems that the state doesn't want to welcome them, which is absolutely terrible for us in terms of racism. So internationalism is also led by fighting this kind of racist reforms that we see in France and that may exist sooner or later in other European countries, if it's not already the case.
Okay, just a small intervention.
Yes, sorry, I forgot to mention a very important part. Of course, the Kurdish people and their struggle. I forgot to mention because it is very obscure for us. I mean, sometimes we forgot to speak about the most obscure things because everyone knows it. You feel like it, but of course, it is a very important part to mention. I will give a short answer, an obvious answer. Of course, we are in solidarity with the Kurdish people and their struggle for liberation and their self-determination rights. And yeah, that's all. And the long answer we can talk after the session.
Well, our organization, Gakusei Kodo, doesn't have an international relationship at all, and this is the first time we come to other country out of Japan, and it is not really surprising as our organization is just 3 years old, but there is a much deeper reason for the lack of international inter- international activity, as Japan seems to be isolated physically and well, ideologically, both physically and ideologically, and I feel really I feel connecting with other country is a really difficult problem. But and well, while we as Gakusei Kodo don't have a relationship between to other countries, but my for my I am a student of University of Tokyo, and we have a student union in University of Tokyo, and the student union of U Tokyo did have a relationship with Taiwan and Korea. However, it is not well fight. It is not a solidarity for fight or movement. Just single communication, and this suggests that it is really important to be clear about what we are fighting for, not just communicate. And well, that's my answer.
Do you mind if I add another point? I also wanted to add another point to why internationalism is so important to us. And that is the fact that we are against the common idea that revolution, fight against the capitalism will spread from one place like a wildfire. We have seen examples of such thinking in the past, and it has clearly not worked. So I truly do believe that internationalism is the thing that will prevent, like strong internationalism is the thing that will lead us forward in that regard. Because I do believe that, like, if Russia had a strong leftist activism that focused on internationalism and stood in solidarity with Ukrainians, not just in words but in action, we wouldn't be in this situation today. And so for many, many other countries. So internationalism is the answer to a lack of understanding between leftists abroad and across many continents. And I believe that is why we should do it, and that is why it's important for my union.
Thank you a lot. There is a question in the public. I have also one in the Twitch chat, but we can start with you.
For our union, which was created reborn in 2023, the internationalist examples were very, very big motivation to start organizing the students, because before we didn't had this organization, and we see the solidarity from different unions from International Labor Network of Solidarities and Struggles, such as Solidaires and Institut Pracownicze. And we see that it's possible to organize the young people. And so it was not that scary for us to, to do something very new, because we seen that it's also happening in different countries, and internationalism for us can be also the way to spread the information, to teach each other very new things sometimes from countries which are which don't have developed enough union activities. And we can show to many other students who still don't have the union of struggle in their universities that it's possible to do it. And there's examples in different countries, and they're not alone, because we feel that maybe we are alone, that there is no such an organization in Ukraine at that time. And this presence of the student unions or youth unions in different countries was, again, really motivating.
Okay, thanks you a lot. So we have a question from the Twitch chat, and I think it will be the last one, sadly, because of the time. So, do you think that the reapproachment during the Solidaires Étudiant Congress can allow you to come together to effectively fight against militarization? Do I have to repeat, or it's fine? It's fine? It's fine. Ok. Peut-être Hélène, tu veux commencer
So, yes, I truly believe that this Congress will help us come together. I will answer on one aspect. I let Hilde maybe talk about the strike of the 20th of November. Before that, I will have a word on Universities at War, which is a network. I've talked about it a little earlier, which was founded by our comrades from Priemedia, Iniziativa Pracownicza, as well as Italian comrades that left this group a bit earlier. But we are trying to expand it progressively, to invite comrades from other countries, which are student unions or organizations that are leaning towards unionism and class organization within the university. And we are building it to develop solidarity, to develop coordination, and to develop common ideas. So we are meeting every month. We try to find ways to welcome other organizations, and we'll try for the next semester to organize a congress that is not Solidaires Congress, but a specific international congress of this framework to make it solid and to make it a true platform that can help us when it comes to solidarity. For now, we've exchanged ideas. We've signed communications to support each other's mobilization, but we can go way further. And I think meeting in person and talking about it with other organizations is a way to expand it. And it's also the meaning of the motion we want to adopt later that calls for the reinforcement of universities at war. So this is a big step for us, and we are very happy on what's happening right now, and we hope it will stay that way for the years to come.
Yeah, I was thinking that in Falcon, I was in the International Commission for some years, and I must say that this initiative on uniting for anti-militarism, it's something I didn't see in the last years. So, and I didn't see anything comparable that was like as concrete and vivid, and in the same time also so, yeah, I think quite well constructed and so on. So I think this seeing like this kind of initiative grow, it gives me some hope for that it is possible to build strong international ties, and I think we have the means to do so, and we have to use them. But it depends also on us, and if we are like committed to really make it a thing in our organizations in each single branch. Yeah. But so I think this is a bit what I see as potential in this Students and Youth Against War Alliance and this mobilization we want to build for next autumn. Yeah.
Yes, as I said before, I do believe that active anti-militarist stance of organizations in different countries with ties to each other will help to prevent or fight against militarization. But I do think that to do that, we need more focus on mutual aid and active participation in such struggles, not just conferences and talking and such. Yeah, that is my point.
Well, I think the question catches the essence of whole of this meeting. Yes. Well, first of all, have to put it. Firstly, I want to start with agreeing the words of the Prima Dia representative. We have to do more than talking, obviously. But the I think the biggest thing that this meeting provided for us, particularly, as I said in the beginning of my speech, the ruling class has almost complete and perfect information. I know all of you are following the news and the weapons technology, for example. There is a technology called Palantir, and they can, track where is everybody in the room, where everybody sits in a room, just from a signal. So this, their weaponry of technology is day by day is updating itself. So we have to start by breaking our shells, I think. So we, as I said in the beginning, we are not have perfect information of each other. We don't know each other, but our enemy is almost the same. It has many facets. Yes, it has many different manifestations in different countries and different subjective differences. But we with different with slight differences, we are against the same enemy. So I think it is crucial for us to know each other and see each other's subjective differences, their conditions, and understanding them, and in order to in order to transcend our weaknesses and find strength in our unity, I believe. So I think just the meeting itself has crucial importance. So other than that, as I said, we have subjective differences from country to country. For example, I know in Germany there is military. There are strikes against the military of the students. For example, or in Japan, for example, the right wing has a different stance towards the military. So every country has different subjective differences. But In Turkey's instance, for example, a strike against the military will not be very successful, because militarism is actually engraved into the code of state of national state of Turkey. So it is hard to tell the people to act against militarism in the and organize a strike. But as I said, we have a common ground now, and we have open access to each other, and we have to seize every opportunity of mutual aid and common resistance towards our common enemy. Thank you.
Well, for us in Japan, this conference is a huge step forward for us, as we have been really isolated from international struggle, and well, when 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 it comes to, especially when it comes to war and militarization, it is really related to how the world is currently is, and the uh, the difference of point of view between countries are really big, while there are many things are in common. So it is crucial to have know about each other's point of view, and lack of connection and isolation really often leads to being nonsense, because wrong uh, wrong interpretation of the status quo. And while this is a huge step forward, obviously this is not enough, because, for example, our student action doesn't have doesn't know really much about this conference, and we're not really organized to come here. So many of our members of Gakusei Kodo doesn't know what we are talking about here. So this is a problem, because uh, even when we share our opinion with our comrades overseas, if we don't share with comrades in Japan, it doesn't mean anything. So we have to making the network more strength, network stronger, which is globally and internally. Thank you.
Okay, so I think we can conclude this debate. So thank you everyone to participate to it. Thank you everyone that managed to make it this possible. And that's it. Thanks.